Okay, welcome back to Murders on the Yangtze River. When we last left off, we were just about to talk to the nephew. Uncle, now that you're gone, I am truly alone. I'm sorry for your loss. In order to uncover the truth, I need to ask you a few questions. You're the one who murdered him. There's no need for your crocodile tears. Someone murdered your uncle and framed me. I'm sure you would like to find out the truth as much as I do. Come on and ask then. No more questions. Okay. So if memory serves me correctly, Ribbon was hanging in the ceiling when we arrived the night before. There were signs that our friend Lo Pei here had eaten one of the drugged rice cakes. So our suspicions are that Lo Pei was dead and in the closet. When we arrived, and someone was impersonating Lo Pei. Interestingly, woodchip, which came from the broken door, wound up in the wardrobe. Along with this, so we have... Hang on. There we go, alright. So events this morning. Please tell me about the events you encountered this morning. Every morning, I come by Uncle's place to help him with jobs he's too busy to deal with. There has to be someone to take care of mundane tasks like cleaning up and feeding the chickens. What do you do for a living? My uncle pays me. I also help him organize his manuscripts sometimes. I understand. Please continue recounting what happened this morning. I came to visit Uncle, like usual, but I couldn't hear a sound from the room, which was strange. When I arrived, I saw Yang Er was already here. He said that he didn't see my uncle either. I knocked on the door for quite a while, but no one answered. I have a sensitive nose, so I kept sensing the smell of blood coming from inside the room. I felt like something was terribly wrong, so I told Yang Er to hurry and get someone. When he finally entered the room, I found that my uncle had been murdered. Go on and ask then. Suspicious people. Within your uncle's interpersonal relationships, have you ever noticed someone suspicious? Aren't you the most suspicious person? Then let me pose the question differently. Did your uncle hold any grudges against anyone? My uncle was very friendly, but he held some kind of grudge against Yang Er, the errand runner. What kind of grudge? Yang Er attempted to steal coins from the table during a delivery, but my uncle caught him. Yang Er was seized by the government and got beaten for it too. Oh. When did this occur? It was about half a month ago, so I'm sure he's still bitter about it. Do you suspect that Yang Er murdered him out of vengeance? After all, he's the one who delivers rice cakes to my uncle. Also, when I arrived here this morning, he was already here. I don't know how long he'd been. Now that I recall, he did have a sort of sneaky look on his face. Oh. It seems that it is necessary to talk about this issue with Yang Er. Low pace apparel. Your uncle's attire coat, deerstalker, and false mustache was quite unusual. The hat and the mustache were all characteristics of his novelist identity. He purposefully dressed himself up this way to become famous. So that ill-fitting strange coat was also one of his characteristics. Strange coat? You mean that western wind coat that he wore all the time? Precisely. The wind coat made of silk. He's going for the Max Galactica level marketing. The tailor-made coat was one of my uncle's characteristics. He spent a lot to hire the best tailor and used the best fabric for the coat, but it turned out the fact that this coat is not present at the crime scene is what caught my attention. So you're saying that my uncle's coat disappeared into thin air? You look quite perturbed about that. Perhaps the murderer took it with them. The way you said it, Mr. Shen, it sounds as if it were a plot from a novel. Go on ahead and ask then. All right. Lo Shiwen stated that Yang Er was responsible for delivering rice cakes to Lo Pei. Theoretically, Yang Er also had the chance to tamper with the rice cakes. He also had the motive. Could it be that Yang Er killed him out of revenge? Need to confirm this issue with Yang Er. According to Lo Shiwen, this coat was tailor-made for Lo Pei. This coat was one of the characteristics of Lo Pei's novelist identity. He always wore it. Something of such importance ought to be left at the scene. However, it is no longer in this room. The murderer is the only person who has left this room. He must have taken the coat with him. The murderer must have had a reason to do so. Oh, Shen, this is a Western-style miller. It seems somewhat out of place compared with the other furniture in this room. Therefore, it seems that there are no clues here. You're all over the place. You're not messing with the crime scene, are you? Rest assured, Officer Ma, I'm a professional in that aspect. In order to find out the truth, I would like Officer Ma to answer a few of my questions. Do I have any? I don't have any new questions. No more questions. Judge Shang? Judge Shang, did you notice anything? You and Lo Pei covered in blood. No suspicion was discovered, none at all. Yeah, we've seen this conversation last video. Civil modest front door made of pine wood. Broken latch exposed the brown lines within. Sir? Is there anything else you want to ask? I want to ask the chickens. Look, Shen, there are 2 free-range chickens here. Sure, 2 chickens. Do you think they are involved in this case? I heard that free-range chickens in this area have delicious meat because they walk so much. Alright. Yang Er, I heard that you once had a grudge with Lo Pei. Is that true? No way. How could I ever have the guts to hold a grudge against Master Lo? Lo Pei noticed you stealing his money and you were beaten at the court for it. Am I wrong? That was a misunderstanding. How can that even count as a grudge? I saw silver coins on the floor, so I wanted to pick them up and return them to him. That's all in the past. Mr. Shen hadn't reminded me. I would have forgotten about it already. That was only half a month ago. You're forgetting so soon? Could it be that you felt wronged by Lo Pei, then decided to kill him out of vengeance? That's a wrongful accusation. I don't even have the guts to kill a chicken, let alone a person. When you arrived on scene this morning, were there any other people around? No one. But Lo Shiwen arrived pretty much right after. I've already told you everything about my morning in detail. Do you need me to repeat myself? Once more, why not? Morning. I didn't see Lo Pei anywhere. But he probably overslept, so I hollered for him, but there was no response. So the gates were open, so I went inside the courtyard and put the rice cakes on the table. And somebody called out to me. It was his nephew, Lo Shiwen. Knock on the door, no response at all. Smelled blood, asked me to call the officials. Got Officer Ma. Officer Ma and Lo Shiwen kicked the door open together while I waited outside. You never entered. Alright. No more questions. When I questioned him about the quarrel, Yang Er seemed somewhat flustered. Furthermore, he had a chance to tamper with the rice cakes. Maybe young heir did kill him out of revenge. Huh. Alright, a few more questions. Oh, Mr. Shen, you've looked through this place. Should you explain your reasoning to my lord? Quit wasting time if you ain't got a proper answer. Just let me arrest you. Begin my deduction? Now? Shit, what do we do? There's still a lot of mysteries we haven't solved yet. We've already examined all the places that could be investigated within the courtyard. Even though the truth is yet to be clear, we need to discuss the case with Judge Chang. Judge Chang, I believe we are now able to discuss this case. If so, you may begin. Deduction. Truth behind the locked room murder. When the deceased was discovered, this room was in a sealed-off state. The window cannot be opened, leaving us the front door locked from the inside. When the front door was reopened, the deceased and I were the only people inside this room. Under these circumstances, everyone, including myself, would instinctively believe that the murderer must be someone who is still within this room, which would be me. Hence, we have all neglected the possibility of a third person hiding inside this room. Alright then, tell me, where on earth would this third person be hiding? That would be the wardrobe. All traces within the wardrobe show that someone was hiding inside it not long ago. There was another person in the room? Mr. Shen, was the person hiding in the wardrobe? Was the person hiding in the wardrobe the murderer? Debating the semantics here. Because yes, the murderer likely... As our conclusion is that the murderer hid the body in the wardrobe. That is good. The murderer first hid inside the wardrobe, then after you and Lope were drugged, he sneaked out, murdered Lope, and framed you for it, right? Okay, incorrect. The person who hid inside the wardrobe was someone else. Oh? When I arrived last night, this wardrobe was already locked from the outside. The person inside was the murderer. He would not have been able to get out by himself. The person inside the wardrobe was not the murderer. Who could it have been? Last night I was the one who latched the door. Theoretically, it is highly unlikely for anyone else to enter the scene after that. There were books piled under the bed and the wardrobe was locked. Nothing had changed. Evidence points to someone in the wardrobe, the only place to hide. The bloodstains prove a third person. The actual murderer was present at the time of the crime. The person in the wardrobe was not the murderer, then it could only be this person. Lope. This person. If the person hiding in the wardrobe was not the murderer, it must have been Lope. What a load of bull. Why would Master Lo hide inside his own wardrobe? Is he playing hide and seek? That is the only possibility left. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, how improbable, must be the truth. Mr. Shen wants the reasoning for Lope to hide inside his wardrobe. Not of his own will. No, he did not hide inside the wardrobe of his own will. is hid inside by someone else. If the person hiding inside the wardrobe last night was Lope, then who did you meet? Indeed, didn't you just say that you only saw Lope in the room when you hung the door latch? I believe that person I saw in this room last night was not Lope, but the actual murderer. When I arrived at Lope's house last night, the candle inside was still lit. But I had knocked on the door for quite some time before someone responded. Before opening the door, they even specifically tried to confirm if we had ever met before. If the person you met was not Lope, how couldn't you recognize the corpse this morning? Last night he wore a hat and a mustache, had his back toward me, and the lights were dim. By then, the real Lope had eaten the drugged rice cakes and was moved inside the wardrobe. What you have just said does explain the presence of a third person within the room. Officer Ma, what do you reckon? These are all just speculations. Got any evidence that proves the person who was hiding inside the wardrobe was Master Lo? The camphor wood was a wardrobe. Here's proof. This is the autopsy report from our initial investigations. It'll answer a lot of questions. Lope's hair smells of camphor wood, confirming he hid inside the wardrobe. How is that so? The camphor wardrobe repels insects and leaves a lasting fragrance on clothes stored within. Even if Lope's clothes catch the scent, his hair should not, unless Lope was inside the wardrobe and his head was against the partition board the entire time. Don't you forget, Master Lo usually wears a hat. That could have just been the scent of his hat. His hat has no scent. Coats and hats worn frequently don't go in the wardrobe. Mr. Shen's deduction is indeed reasonable. What else have you found out the deceased? Look here. White glutinous rice powder on the collar of the deceased. Rice cake crumbs. It shows that, like I had, the deceased ate rice cakes that were laced with knockout drugs. He was stabbed 3 times, yet the absence of defense wounds also proves this point. He wore a loose fake mustache, likely removed and reattached. All the details above are able to confirm my deduction. The Lope I met last night was actually impersonated by the murderer. What kind of person would dress up as Master Lo? Mr. Shen's deduction does hold some truth. However, up until Officer Ma broke down the door, the room was locked from the inside. Yeah, how could the murderer walk out of the room when it was locked from the inside, huh? Front doors are the only exit, and the door latch can only be hung from inside the room. Please have a look. This is the key evidence to solving the mystery of the door latch. Ooh, alright. Where did that... Okay, the dagger is the murder weapon. Has to be the ribbon, right? Take that. Here's proof. Shen, I got it! Oh, we're wrong, aren't you? Murderer likely hung the latch with a ribbon outside the house, then removed it. After this ribbon was found inside a locked wardrobe. You would not have been able to lock the ribbon back inside the wardrobe. You're right. I also just remembered that there were windproof straps built into the door frame. It would be highly difficult to use that kind of technique with the ribbon. Alright, you two. For all that whispering, you got a conclusion or not? Allow me to reconsider. Oh wait, shit. I didn't mean to do that. A fool. Well, that's interesting. That's kind of like a partial solution. It's a thing that I've seen in a few fan cases now, that you present an adjacent piece of evidence and it doesn't penalize you for getting it wrong, but it Is it this then? This is a woodchip. That is correct. The key lies within this woodchip. Oh, I don't get it. Ain't it normal for some stubble to fall from the partition board when moving it around? No, it is abnormal. The woodchip did not fall on the partition board. It appeared on a pile of clean clothes. More importantly, the inner wardrobe is made of camphor wood, yet this woodchip is pine wood. Afu carefully checked and confirmed. The woodchip matches the broken latch. This woodchip is a piece of stubble that flew off when the door latch was broken. As Officer Ma kicked in, the wardrobe had been clearly locked until unlocked by Afu just now. This is extremely abnormal. Oh, wrong voice. That's strange. Why would the woodchip appear inside the wardrobe? Unknown? Whatever caused the woodchip to appear inside the wardrobe is insignificant. What we need to focus on is when the woodchip entered the wardrobe and what it uncovers. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Mr. Shen, don't beat around the bush. Tell me now, what truth does it uncover? Simply put, the woodchip flew off the broken door latch before the wardrobe was locked. Means that when the door latch broke, the door of the wardrobe was still open. Shen, the most recent time we know of that the wardrobe doors were open should be before you woke up, right? That is correct. Then, doesn't that mean... That means that before Officer Ma kicked open the door latch was already broke. Oh. In other words, this is not a locked room at all. Oh. So how'd they fake the locked room then? You're the best, Shen! No wonder the door was so easy to kick open. I just thought it was shabby and old. All contact leaves traces. The murderer's plan was flawed by a woodchip left in the wardrobe as incriminating evidence. This tiny woodchip not only exposed their cunning scheme, but also allowed me to follow their footprints and deduce their true identity. He's looking at you. The person who murdered Lope is... Oh. Okay, so you have a very specific set of culprits. Oh, as fun as it would be to try accusing people, this person. Murderer of this case is you, Lo Shiwen. You lie. How could I possibly kill my old uncle? Judge Shang, please. He's trying to frame me. Well, you believe that Lo Shiwen is the murderer. Where is the evidence? The door latch was not broken when the door was kicked open, but broken beforehand. The so-called sealed-off state of the room was an illusion created by the murderer. He appeared to knock on the door, but he was just securing it from unwanted entry. Until Officer Ma kicked the door. That is when the murderer let go of the door. This way he could mislead everyone into believing that the door was locked from the inside. You have all been fooled by his performance. Ah, damn! You treacherous lech! Wait, what? It wasn't me! Lo Shiwen, I will tell you this. You're the only person who believes your tricks were clever. Ooh, burn! That is because your scheme has a fatal weakness. What weakness? To ensure the success of your plan, you had to control the door at all times. Through reverse deduction, I can be sure that... Lo Shiwen, you are the murderer. You lie. Lo Shiwen, is there anything else you want to say at this point? He's a liar, a deceiver, a fibster and a cheater, a phony and misleader. Oh shit, he's spitting. Sick rhymes. I have something to say, too. Mr. Shen, you made up a story and said a bunch of absurd theories. Did you really see it happen? Why in the world should we believe your words? In my opinion, you're the one who is fooling everyone. Then what evidence do you have for saying that? There's a clear and simple reason. I have no motive to murder my uncle. He got me. I barely had time to investigate. I have yet to infer the motive for the murder. Lope is my uncle, my family by blood. Why would I want to kill him? What's more important is the problem between you and me. This is the first time we've ever met, am I right? That is correct. We have never met each other before. If we've never met, why would I go through the trouble of framing you by killing my own uncle? I couldn't possibly have known about your visit. How could I design a plot to frame you? It was a coincidence that I had surprised you in your act. A coincidence? Did you just say that all this was a plot that I designed? Mr. Shen, is it true that the two of you have never met? That is correct. If that's the case, then Lo Shiwen indeed has no reason to frame you. Shen, things aren't looking good. Things aren't looking too good for us. Mr. Shen, could you be mistaken? No way. Shen's deductions have never been wrong. Deduction? More like a one-sided statement. Where's the proof? Do you have any? You think that woodchip is enough? Ah, well... Lo Shiwen also has a certain truth to his words. Mr. Shen, do you have any further evidence to support your claim? Accusing him without proof is difficult and risks putting me in a tough spot if you're wrong. There are shameless people who claim to be detectives. Never thought I'd meet one today. Mr. Shen, you ain't got no proof. Not at the moment. Then you leave me no choice but to seize y'all and punish y'all with torture. Oh! Damn it! I managed to come so far with my deduction. Am I really going to let him escape? Shen, try to think harder. Could be that we missed some kind of clue. Didn't you always say that you were really confident in your memory palace? Evidence that can be used to accuse Lo Shiwen must still be in this room. All contact leaves traces. The evidence is not non-existent, but instead undiscovered. All objects and images settle in different locations sequentially. Seems like... Oh, something's missing from this table. What could be missing from the table? Pile of blank rice papers in the drawer. A paperweight placed on top. 2 new pens, 3 candles, box of matches. Small box. Ink cartridge made of tin, holding a half-used ink block. Alright. Tales of the Moon Colony. Straight fiction. Shanghai News. Common white glazed candlestick. We still have a stick of unburned candle on top. Square-shaped inkstone with several plum blossoms. Wrapped on one side. Residual ink on the inkstone. A table including the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. 4 calligraphy brushes, piece of wallpaper under the rack. Ink's not dried out. Handwritten manuscript, I would think. We saw him writing. The thing that was missing from the table was Lope's manuscript. Ink of the inkstone has yet dried, and one of the calligraphy brushes has not dried out either. Indicates someone was writing at the desk last night. Could have been Lo Pei, or Lo Shiwen, who was impersonating Lo Pei. Manuscript should have been left at the scene, unless someone took it away. When was the manuscript taken away? You should have an impression of this matter. Investigating the desk, I felt strange, to grasp onto this feeling. That will be the case breaker, hidden inside my memory. I remember now. I saw the manuscript on the desk when I first awoke. That's why I felt odd during the investigations. This means that the manuscript was taken after I woke. Someone concealed this clue during investigations. Who was it? How would they do this? It's likely the person would be the murderer. However, there are still other possibilities. Other possibilities? What's the probability of the emergence of other possibilities? Very low. Aside from the murderer, no one else on scene had the motive to conceal clues. So how do we treat these low probability events? We temporarily exclude them from our hypotheses. I am really busy right now. Could you go away? I'm helping you sort out your case, great detective. When you're busy working on a case, you have to tell the dark thoughts to piss off. Assuming the murderer hid the manuscript, this manuscript must be really important to them. What could be written in the manuscript? Their motive? Key evidence? Last words? Was the manuscript itself valuable? There are too many possibilities. That is the question you're supposed to be asking. Why would something he risked taking away in broad daylight be left behind that night? Was it altered? Could it be that the manuscript was altered after the murderer left the scene? Lo Pei didn't die right away. After he regained consciousness, he left a dying message. Can't be. No traces of movement. If this were the case, there would at least be bloodstains. Don't complicate the problem. The truth is often simple and instinctive. Forgot it? Ooh! They forgot it at the scene! Though it sounds unbelievable, the murderer forgot something when they left the scene. Upon returning, he recognized the manuscript's importance and took the risk of keeping it. This had to be a premeditated murder planned in advance to be able to achieve such coherency. See, I wonder if the whole ribbon being tossed aside was sort of a means to, was Lo Shiwen planning a suicide until Shen showed up? Murderer is a very meticulous person. They also reorganized the crime scene. Kind of think what they have forgotten. Are you sure that everything went according to the murderer's plan? That's right. There was one thing that the murderer could not have planned. What was not part of the murderer's plan? My arrival. Even Lo Shiwen hidden himself said that he could not possibly have known of my arrival. However, he actually designed a locked room and framed me for this crime. The most unreasonable part of all this is that I became a part of his murder plan. What if you hadn't appeared then? It would have another plan, and it involves the ribbon in the rafters. It would have faked a hanging. But evidently, the murderer had another plan, which was his original plan. The murderer's plan was foiled by my surprise visit and the insistence on meeting Lo Pei. Realizing I had never met Lo Pei, the killer improvised and posed as him to frame me. So what was the murder's original plan? Suicide. If I had not appeared, there would have been only Lo Pei's corpse. Evidently, the murderer's original plan was to make Lo Pei kill himself in the locked room. If the original plan was to falsify a suicide, what could be hidden within the manuscript? Ooh. Suicide note? It is clear to me now. There must have been a suicide note left unseen. Mr. Shen, if you keep dawdling around, I'm gonna have to resort to violence. Hold on. Judge Shen, Officer Ma, I am now aware of all the murderous schemes. I, Shen Chunping, promise to uncover the truth. Judge Shang, there's no need to listen to his fabrication any longer. Seeing how much this bothers you, I actually would like to give Mr. Shen another chance. Mr. Shen, although I believe you're at the end of your rope, you may begin. Lo Shiwen and I are complete strangers, yet I became a crucial part of his scheme, because Lo Shiwen improvised his plan. His original plan was to falsify Lo Pei's suicide. To falsify a suicide? Mr. Shen, do you have any evidence? I believe the murderer accidentally left a forged suicide note here when he fled the scene. Oh? There was such a thing? Mr. Shen, how could you be so full of yourself at a time like this? Hey, what's that in your hand, buddy? If you found a suicide note, take it out for everyone to see, then. If he really did forge some kind of suicide note, I'ma cuff Lo Shiwen in an instant. Officer Ma, may I ask you a question? Go on, then. When I first awoke, I remember seeing a piece of paper on the desk. Did you see it? Now that you mention it, I think there was. And again, I don't remember that clearly either. Officer Ma, you have repeatedly stressed that no one is allowed to tamper with the crime scene. However, during investigations, the murderer secretly hid the note under your nose. Let us search this room again and find the suicide note. Mr. Shen, I advise you to stop stalling for time. Your ability to make up stories is even better than us novelists. Mr. Shen, I've already heard a handful of deductions today. Although your deductions sound quite reasonable, after all, they are just one-sided statements. I need to see solid evidence to settle this case. Judge Chang is so perspicacious. And to claim that there is a suicide note, you have the obligation to find it. I will give you one last chance to point out where exactly that suicide note you speak of is. Judge Chang, there's not a big difference between one chance or two chances, perhaps. Give me one last chance. This is what Mr. Shen said himself just now. I'm grateful, Judge Chang. One chance is more than enough. There's no such evidence like that at all. So, Mr. Shen, please point it out. Shen, we only have one chance left. What are we gonna do? Times like this, there is no choice but to take a gamble. Oh. Suicide note is hidden right here. Oh, where? Evidently, it is hidden on your person. You lie. Officer Ma and I both searched inside and outside this house, but no note was found. The only possibility is that the forged suicide note is on your person. Judge Chang, does Shen Chunping want to search my body without any clear evidence? I'm a scholar of Guibao Year. I don't kneel before officials. Well... Privilege of cultivated talents. Ah, a scholar who has passed the county level imperial examination is known as a cultivated talent. Compared to the general public, they had certain privileges. Cultivated talents were able to write a letter of request when they need to report something to their local authorities, while the general public could only write a petition. Okay, so pass your examination, you get a level of status. You can make requests as opposed to petitioning. When facing a magistrate, cultivated talents folded their hands in front and bowed as a courtesy instead of kneeling. Local authorities were not allowed to punish them at will. Oh! general public could not address cultivated talents by their names and had to greet them as my lord. The front door of cultivated talents' house was 3 inches taller than the others. Cultivated talents were exempted from partial taxes as well as state statute labor. Well, if it is necessary to make myself more clear, this is the exact location. That book in your hand. What? That? How could that possibly be hidden on me? The manuscript missing. It should be the book that you have been holding this entire time. The forged suicide note must be hidden within it. No, that's not. Officer Ma, take that book for examination. Lo Shiwen, stay where you are and don't you dare move. Hand over that book. Uh-oh. You. What? Yeah. Don't come near me. You punk. Stop eating the books. Oh, God. Stop that. Ah, Lord, look. There actually was a piece of paper folded in here. I inked a pact with death. I waited his arrival patiently. Tonight he finally knocked on my door. I trouble my last of kin, Lo Shiwen, to handle my affairs. Please keep matters simple. An accurate foretelling, Mr. Shen. This is indeed a suicide note. Lo Shiwen, you ungrateful little bastard. Master Lo treated you with love and care. How could you do something like this to him? I'm gonna sharpen my sword with that head of yours. That's the last thing I'd do. That's nonsense. He's the one who let me down. So, Lo Shiwen, are you betting that you killed Lo Pei? Slander, lies. No, it wasn't me. Lo Shiwen, no matter the circumstances, murder was not an option, nor was framing the innocent. Mr. Shen, could you recall the sequence of events in this entire case for me? Sure. The initial plan was to drug Lo Pei and use the ribbon in the wardrobe to kill him. By using the door latch, you could create an illusion of Lo Pei hanging himself in a locked room. However, during his act of murder, I arrived unexpectedly, insisting on meeting with Lo Pei. Therefore, his only option was to improvise his plan and frame Shen for the murder. Lo Shiwen drugged me, killed Lo Pei, and framed me by placing the dagger in my hand. He thereupon broke the door latch according to the original plan to create a locked room. Not knowing that justice has long arms. How could murder in reality be the same as the imagination of committing crimes in novels? The deceased bled profusely, and it also took longer than he expected to set up the scene. As he was in a hurry, there were many loopholes. Loopholes? What loopholes? When he broke the door latch, he did not notice the wood chips that flew into his sleeves. He had no time to reorganize the wardrobe and simply stuffed the ribbon into the clothes pile. Without notice, the wood chip slipped out from his sleeves and was left in the locked wardrobe. All our doubts are being resolved. Most fatal one was that he actually forgot to take the suicide note with him. So he took away the manuscript from the table and hid the note in it. I'm actually really vibing with the whole, murder mystery novelist killed, but the murderer makes a ton of really, simple and expected mistakes that you would make in reality. I like that vibe for a case. Now mistaken, Lo Shiwen. You are the culprit who murdered Lo Pei. No, none of you truly understand. That's mine. It all belongs to me. All of this is mine. How could I? No way. No way. Look at this punk. He just fainted. Mr. Shen, your performance has impressed me deeply. Not only were you able to clear your name, you also uncovered the culprit. Thumbs up. Extraordinary. However, I still have a glimmer of doubt. Pray tell, Your Honor. handwriting in the suicide note and Lo Pei's manuscript is strikingly similar. Lo Shiwen has not confessed and his motive is not clear. This case faces many variables. In order for this to become an ironclad case, more evidence needs to be found. Am I correct? Yes, that's right. What do you reckon, Mr. Shen? Lo Shiwen wore Lo Pei's coat when he was impersonating him. That coat is missing. He probably took the coat when he first left the scene. He must have a compelling reason. Oh, what reason is that? Did Lo Shiwen like the actual writer of Lo Pei's books? Was Lo Pei a fraud? The suspect was stained with the victim's blood. This is also true. The drugged rice cakes as well as Lo Shiwen. The drugged rice cakes as well. Lo Shiwen must have taken them away. He didn't have much time to deal with these items, so that they could still be hidden somewhere. Well, Officer Ma, what do you reckon? We find out that Lo Shiwen is hiding a blood-stained coat, and the case is closed. I'll send people out to search for it right away. Well, what's left of this matter is all procedural. You have suffered injustice today, Mr. Shen. Let's leave this place together. Solved. Heck yeah. Shen, you don't seem particularly happy, even though the case is closed. Came here for a reason, after all, and that reason is... It's because you still haven't figured out the motive. Don't worry about it. We'll just go and ask Lo Shiwen after he wakes up. Afu, do you still remember the reason why I came to visit Lo Pei? Well, the investigation of the unsolved case of Shen's brother in London 3 years ago. You said that Lo Pei's novel was related to the unsolved case in your brother. Due to the particularity of the location of the crime, Scotland Yard ordered secrecy. Including me. Perhaps no more than 5 people have been exposed to the details of this case. Recently, I stumbled upon a new detective fiction published in the Shanghai News. Is it the Confined Room mystery written by Lo Pei? That is correct. A novelist living in rural Hunan could not possibly have connections to the London case. What was eerie about this matter was... Shen, could it be that... The details of the crimes written in Lo Pei's novel are exactly the same as that case. Now that Lo Pei is dead, we've lost another lead. Our only hope is Lo Shiwen. Perhaps he will know of something, but he is still unconscious. If that's the case, why don't we go grab some breakfast, Shen? Yeah. Dig in with your stomach. Attaboy. Let me tell you something, Shen. We walked past this food stall earlier. The fermented bean curd they were selling smelled really yummy. Although, what could help get your brain moving than a good meal? Ooh, a few hours later. Are we jumping straight into case 2? The air outside is indeed much better. Shen, let's go and have some sweet fried dough twists. Ooh, sounds lovely. Did you just promise Judge Chang to help him find the coat? Since Afu is willing to help, it is certain that we will soon find Lo Pei's coat. Officer Ma, you needn't arrange for soldiers to search anymore. Eh? Okay. I just want to find a reason to go out for a walk. You waited in the court all morning. Lo Shiwen still hasn't woken up. It's really boring. The judge asks, how will you explain yourself? Well, I count on you, Shen. I didn't agree to help. I suddenly lost the mood to look for delicious food. Are you coming or not? Where? Lo Shiwen's house. It was his first crime. There might be clues. Shen, you come up with the directions so clearly. This is the courtroom. There'll be no admittance. Dr. Lo was murdered? God bless me. His nephew is the murderer. That ungrateful Lo Shi-wen? Yes, it's him. He's even a scholar. Yes, shame on him. Oh, there's a circle drawn on this paper, and there are also many words written on it. This seems to be a pass list of the candidate examination. I'm not sure why it's here, though. Wow, all these people on the list are scholars. The candidate examination is divided into country level, county level, prefectural level, and academy level. This list is for the county level examination. But Lo Shi-wen's not on it? But what, Shen? Nothing. Lo Shi-wen did say he was county level. Oh. Candidate examination or Tongxi. Primary level examination in the imperial exam system. 3 levels, county, prefectural, academy. After each exam, the examinee's number is announced in the form of a circle. That's an interesting aesthetic. First examinee's number is raised by 1 character and located at the highest point of the circle center. The numbers are arranged counterclockwise. The center of the circle is written with a red character, just a long vertical line and a short horizontal line, beginning of the character, which means auspicious. So, starts at the top, goes counterclockwise, top down, in terms of ranking. Soldier Chen. Shen, is this Lo Shi-wen's house? That's correct. Sorry, Officer Mott issued an order that no one is allowed to enter. Soldier, do you remember us? We're the detectives who solved the Lo Pei case this morning. I remember. You're the accomplice. Accomplice is not allowed to enter. Soldier, we were entrusted by Judge Cheng to search for evidence. Please let us in. All right. Go in then. Shrugged. The Lord has instructed if it's Detective Shen investigating this case, we should cooperate. Your words really work. Alright, what else is here? Before we go in, we can't talk to you, friend. Shen, look! This is Makino bamboo! After carbonization, this type of bamboo can be used to make excellent filaments for lamps. Shen, that green fish looks so beautiful. This type of fish is called Bangana decora. It is a unique species found in the Hunan province. Wow, it does sound delicious. It would be great to have a fishing rod. And do you also want to eat fish, Shen? I just want to go fishing. Relatable. Then let me make a fishing rod for you, Shen. No. Let's investigate the case first. It seems like you read through some internal struggle. Door of Lo Pei's house is tightly locked. There are seals in the door. The chickens are still there. This is a dry well, and there are many ants around the edge. That's gonna be relevant, isn't it? Okay, we can go into Lo Shi-wen's. Anything this direction before we go? It's not the direction to Lo Shi-wen's house. Alright, in we get. It's quite hot. Not only is it hot, but it's also very stuffy. beginning of autumn, why did he start to burn charcoal? Does Lo Shiwen have a weak body? Did he need to cover himself with a quilt even in the hot summer? Afu, do not make assumptions. Shen, let's finish the search as soon as possible and leave quickly. Oh shit, there's a newspaper on the ground. This is the report about Lo Pei. But... The faces of both people in the photo were repeatedly punctured. This should be an act of venting anger. How much resentment must have been in Lo Shiwen's heart? Wooden bed. Judging from the color of the wood, it has been around for quite some years. This wall's a bit strange. This blank space on the wall seems to be cleaner than the rest. Can you analyze the possible reasons for it? There used to be calligraphy or a painting hanging on it, but it was recently taken down. Exactly. Curious. Wow, is this delivery food box from Cow's Snacks? This snack shop is quite famous locally. Let me see what delicious food is in the food box. Afu, don't touch other people's belongings without permission. Anyway, Lo Shiwen will be back. What a pity to let it go to waste. I'll take care of it instead. A basket of steamed buns. They're all mine. And he instantly passes out. It's so hot here. These buns have stayed here for 6 hours. Be careful, they might be spoiled. Don't worry, Shen. It's not spoiled. These steamed buns are incredibly delicious. Boy, are you okay. Shen, there are some indentations on this paper that look like handwriting. I see. These are traces left by a fountain pen. Yes, someone used a fountain pen on the table to write something. The paper with the written words has already been taken. Shen, who is depicted in the portrait? It's Moriarty, the criminal mastermind for the Sherlock Holmes series. Oh. Lo Shiwen hung the portrait of the criminal mastermind here so we can see him while riding. Seems like he admires him quite a bit. No wonder he became a murderer. Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, Adventure of the Navy Treaty, and a Case of Identity. Shen, are these all detective novels? Translations of the Sherlock Holmes series written by Arthur Conan Doyle. Shen, don't you think the middle of the bookshelf feels particularly empty? Yes, judging from the imprints on the partition. There used to be some ceramic vessels in the middle of the bookshelf, but they are now gone. Huh. Wonder what's in this cabinet. Let's open it and see. Whoa. Many crumpled papers are falling out. Let's see what's written inside. 30 minutes later. All forgery attempts. The killer attacked someone with a rod, but had rebounded and knocked himself unconscious. The victim turned into the killer, and the killer turned into the victim. Shit, it appears that all of these crumpled papers in this cabinet are discarded novel manuscripts. Very likely indeed. Didn't expect that Lo Shiwen was actually writing novels. Shen, what do you think of his writing? His ideas are unique, but his writing techniques are not yet mature enough. Is writing technique important, Shen? Certainly. If one only has ideas without proper techniques, it is hard to create a good story. Clearly Lo Shiwen was not satisfied with his own writing either. Having crumpled them into paper balls, yet not wanting to discard them. Indeed, Lo Shiwen's life seems rather awkward. That's a word. Like, I wonder if, like, Lo Pei was taking Lo Shiwen's ideas and making them, and, like, fully realizing them, and getting all the credit for it. See that someone is helping Lo Shiwen improve his writing techniques. These few sheets of paper all have notes written in delicate and elegant handwriting. Curious. Shen, there are some pills in this bottle. Could they be a knockout drug? Let's take a look. Smoking cessation pills? Does Lo Shiwen smoke opium too? That's highly possible. This wardrobe is locked. Padlock on top is similar to the one at Lo Pei's house. Shen, should I try to pry it open? If I were Lo Shiwen, I would definitely hide the bloodstained coat in the wardrobe. Alright, it's up to you. Do your thing. Whoa. Second try. Oh. Well, well.